Hi everyone, welcome to the show. Today we're talking about DACA recipients getting detained and not receiving bond and have to go to court. We're seeing this more and more. I think ever since last year with the new memo coming out where DACA recipients cannot apply for firearm, and it's up to the discretion for them to directly issue notice of intent to appear and ICE check-ins. And then we're seeing that more and more. To ICE, it's not a matter of they're going to be deported. It's only a matter of when they're going to be deported, right? That's what ICE agents always say regarding DACA recipients. To them, they don't have legal right. It's a deferred deportation method. They are like visa waiver. They entered without, people who are on visa waivers, they signed away their right to immigration, bond hearings, etc. Well, if you entered without inspection, even more so, you don't have right to any of this. So it's a mandatory detention. But because you're a DACA recipient, they generally don't go after you. But if you get picked up and there's other things, you have arrest records, then they might, even though DACA recipients have been here for decades and they're contributing to the US. And for one small minor thing, now they're getting picked up and they have to show up in front of ICE. And we're seeing people without any criminal records, right? So if it was a DACA recipient that have like really bad rap sheet and they're getting picked up by ICE, I don't think it will make the news. But all across the US, we're seeing DACA recipients who are getting these notices seemingly out of nowhere for check-ins. And after check-in, the scary thing is, well, what if it's detention? And what if it's detention without bond? Now you're locked up for what, 3 months, 6 months, a year? And if there's no way out, right, you can't file adjustment of status, there's no way out, then your whole family, your kids, what are you going to do? The solution that the immigration community has found to work is the habeas corpus. It is the argument in federal court, not immigration court, in federal court saying you do not have the right to detain me. The immigration courts won't grant bond. The immigration courts won't terminate a case, yet the immigration court will close the case because of habeas corpus, because of federal court. And I think that is, when push comes to shove, that is the only solution, right? Because immigration court, they are responsible for the enforcement, right? They're not part of the official judicial system. They're not the Article 3 courts. They're still part of the same deportation community under the federal government, under the executive branch, essentially, right? It is not part of the official judiciary. So when you bring in the official judiciary to challenge, hey, ICE, you don't have the right to detain a client. Hey, why don't I get a bond hearing? Then they have to answer it, and if they can't answer it, well, then that's a problem. We're going to start doing this, and we're launching our nonprofit. I think if people who have been watching the show know, we've been working on it for the past half a year. It's officially incorporated. It's called American Immigration Lab. One arm of that is the Making Immigration Better. We have a separate YouTube channel for that, talking about education and immigration. We're going to do live events in the next few months. We haven't figured out exactly when. But if you are in the LA area, Southern California specifically, and you know an organization, a church, a community, a union that have a lot of people who have this need, who are, let's say, DACA recipients, or who are in fear of that they will be potentially picked up, let us know, right? Because we will work with those unions or those organizations, and we will go and we'll do a seminar. And this is all for free because it's a nonprofit, right? We'll go, we'll do the seminar. And one of the things that we're going to do is prepare these habeas corpus applications so everybody will have it on hand in their back pocket in case anytime somebody gets picked up, boom, they can pull it out and use it. More details are to come about that. I mean, this is one of the major things that we know works. We know this is a major thing that most people can't afford. A lot of habeas corpus applications are upwards in the 10,000, 15,000. And who would pay that kind of money if you don't even need it yet? So if it's a church, if it's a school, if it's a union, you guys do the recruitment. You guys say, okay, our members qualify. They need this. We just go, we speak, and we help out, right? Hopefully that can help as many people as we can. That's one of the reasons why we're doing these shows, and try to help out. But that's what we're seeing, right? People who are on green card, they come into the country, they get detained by ICE, and now they can't even leave, and they can't even get bail. That is a ripe case for a bond hearing. As a green card holder, you don't let me out on bond. what the hell, right? DACA recipients, EWI, if it's a mandatory detention, it's a different story. But if they were picked up and they weren't checked rightly, maybe it's still worth it to file. Maybe the government would just drop the claim and let you out because they don't want to spend the money and the resources to fight that battle, especially if DHS doesn't have funding, right? They don't want to spend the effort to fight it in litigation court. They might as well just let people out. It's so easy for them to do. Last week we did the success story on how we were able to close out an immigration court proceeding and then now transfer it back to USCIS. That is extremely rare, getting rare these days. Immigration courts really don't like to close. The government really doesn't like to concede. We have to fight them twice in the separate motions in order for them to close out a case. We haven't posted that full video yet. I think we will soon, but you can see that. But if you can't close out a case, the next, and the client is detained at immigration court or by ICE, the next best thing is to do the habeas corpus argument in federal court. And so look that up, see if that applies to you, see what kind of arguments you can muster. ChatGPT, OpenAI, they all provide really good samples. Obviously, that's not enough to actually go through the whole proceeding. That's why we're going to do these nonprofit events where we're going to actually show you through every single step so your family can be prepared, not the individual. Because if the individual is detained, they can't do anything, right? It has to be the family that's going to file on their behalf. So at these events, it's really important that the family members are there. It doesn't matter if you're DACA recipients. We're seeing people getting these notices to appear before ICE and getting detained and without bond, which is extremely concerning. And the only solution that the immigration lawyer community hasn't been able to find successful is the habeas corpus, but it is far too expensive for most people. So we want to do this nonprofit thing to be able to help out as many people as we can. So stay tuned for that. We're not the only ones doing it. Plenty of other nonprofits are willing to do it as well. So just start looking into that to help yourself.